let's settle down to the mat. Just grabbing that last sip of water if you need as well. Starting to settle in, getting those sits bones out of the way. And sitting tall, letting those arms drape into the lap or over the knees. And finding that little side-to-side flow. Moving through the shoulders or that lower edge of the ribs side to side. Just feeling within, acknowledging any soreness, any spots that feel extra tight. And remembering today as you move and flow, checking in often, seeing how you're feeling, being honest and kind with yourself and challenging yourself, but no pain. And if any thoughts pop up to distract you, giving them that moment of acknowledgement before pushing them off of your mat. This is your time. They'll wait. They'll still be there later. Closing the eyes if they're not already closed, and letting that head start to tip as well with that side-to-side flow. Finding that relaxed feeling in the flow, hearing the ocean waves. Letting that motion start to slow. And come to a stop, shifting forward and back, feeling within and finding that space where you feel centered and grounded. Tipping that chin up and holding. Nothing severe or extreme. A little jut of the chin forward. Exhaling, letting that chin flow to the chest to hold, feeling that stretch move into the back of the neck and across the tops of the shoulders. Rolling that right ear to right shoulder, but gently rocking the chin back to the chest, flowing through center, left ear, left shoulder, and gently flowing side to side. Bringing the chin back to chest. Once again, inhaling to float that chin up and shrugging the shoulders up and back. Once or twice, letting that tension go. Bringing the chin back level and shimmying through the shoulders. Letting go of any tension and tightness. Letting those arms fall by the sides. Inhaling, extending long, bringing the pads of the fingers together and floating the arms higher. Chest fully open, as is the front of the body. Exhaling, twisting and releasing to the right, bracing off of the knees, supporting behind the spine. Coming back to center, arms down by the sides. Inhaling, extending long, connecting at the top and floating higher. Exhaling, releasing and twisting left. Coming back to center. Let's bring that left arch of the foot into the crook of the right elbow. Sitting tall, drawing that leg into the chest. Holding that baby in the cradle or gently rocking, getting that little bum massage as well. Releasing the foot, switching sides, that right arch of the foot into the crook of the left elbow. Sitting tall, drawing the leg into the chest, just holding or rocking. Releasing the foot down, sitting comfortably, floating the arms out long to the side, shoulder height, reaching through the fingers towards the opposite walls, and turning those palms forward. On an exhale, sweeping the arms forward, crossing the body, and wrapping the torso. Walking those fingers around the edge of the shoulder blades and hugging in if you reach, if comfortable. That big self-hug. Making note of what arm is on bottom. Before opening the arms wide once again and drawing the shoulder blades together. Those arms coming just behind the torso. Exhaling, sweeping forward, that opposite arm underneath this time. Wrapping the hands around the shoulders, maybe inching those fingertips around the edge of the shoulder blades to hug. Inhaling, sweeping along to the sides, the palms facing down to the mat. Shifting right, flowing through center left, rotating through the ribs. Just reaching long side to side through the arms. As you shift right, holding long before angling that right palm down to the mat and pressing through both arms to reach out through the left fingers. Pointing up towards the ceiling, pressing long, coming back to center. Shifting side to side long through the arms, feeling that stretch through the side of the torso. Shifting long to the left, pausing, tipping that left palm into the mat and extending long out through the right fingertips. Finding your breath. Pressing back to center. Arms releasing down and rolling those shoulders up and back. That right leg extending long in front of the body, drawing that left heel into the groin, and folding from the waist, walking the hands down the leg, settling in, feeling that stretch in the back of the legs. On an inhale, lifting out slightly, extending long through the spine. Exhaling, refolding. The peace sign fingers on that right hand, finding the big toe. And on an inhale breath, lifting out, extending that left arm long behind the torso, that gaze following the thumb. And feeling that full extension through both arms, spine, and leg. On an exhale, releasing forward over that right leg once again. Nose and knee coming nearer. Sliding the hands up the leg, opening that right leg long to the side, redrawing the left heel in. That chest lining up with the right knee and ankle. Before folding over the leg once again, extending long. Feeling that stretch move into the outside of the left torso and hip. Inhaling, lifting out slightly. Exhaling, refolding. Walking the hands up the leg. Let's switch legs. That left leg extending long as we draw the right leg into the groin, sitting tall. Folding forward, hands walking down the leg, lengthening through the spine as we fold in. Big stretch in the back of the legs. Inhaling, lifting out slightly. Exhaling, refolding. Those peace sign fingers on the left hand finding the big toe. And on your next inhale, lifting out, extending behind the torso with the right hand. That gaze following the big thumb. That full extension. Exhaling, refolding forward. walking the hands up the leg and angling that left leg long to the side, redrawing the right heel into the groin before lining the chest up with that left knee and ankle and folding forward once again, settling in. That nose and knee coming nearer, and that big stretch moving into the outside of the right hip and torso. Inhaling, lifting out slightly. Exhaling, refolding. Sliding the hands up the leg. And folding forward onto hands and knees, but settling onto the knees. Tops of the feet relaxing into the mat, bringing the hips to the bum. And sliding those hands behind the back to interlace the fingers, drawing the shoulder blades together. Arms extending long past the bum. Inhaling, lifting higher onto the knees, holding here or floating those arms up behind you as they extend towards the wall behind you. Coming off of the bum, the lower back. On an exhale, lowering the arms to the bum, the hips to the heels. On that next inhale, floating up once again and holding. Relaxing into the breath, those ocean waves crashing against the shore, letting the hands relax against the lower back, opening the hands and bringing those hands to your thighs as the hips settle onto the heels. Shrugging the shoulders up by the ears before moving forward onto those hands and knees as the wrists fall below the shoulders and the knees below the hips. And gently pressing those hips side to side, letting go of any tension. Coming back to center. Floating that left arm, shoulder height, reaching in front of the body. And lifting that right leg to press through the heel towards that wall behind you, hip height. Holding the balance, reaching through the fingers and the heel. Or exhaling, letting that knee and elbow tap under the body before extending long. Taking your time, finding a flow. Breathing into the balance. About 4 or 5 repetitions, taking your time and holding long on the last. That core engaged. Hand and knee releasing down, shifting those hips side to side. And coming back to center, that left palm planting firmly, the right hand floating shoulder height reaching in front, and pressing through that left heel towards the wall behind you, hip height. Core engaged, helping keep that balance, that strength, and staying here or releasing elbow and knee under the torso to touch before extending long. Your flow, your timing, your practice. Just being conscious of the breath of each motion and movement, holding long. Feeling the abs engaged. Releasing down and shifting those hips side to side. Coming back to center. Stretching that right leg long behind the body, coming into a little kickstand with the toe. But pressing through the heel, hip height once again. Reaching long through the leg, letting the toes float down, and pulsing, That toe tapping the mat, floating back up. Holding hip height, switching to a pointy toe and lifting upward towards the ceiling. Pulsing upwards. On an exhale, letting that leg release down to the mat, shifting the hips side to side. Coming to center and sliding that left leg long. That little balance on the toe before floating, flexing through the heel, hip height, pressing through the heel. Those toes lowering to the mat just a couple of times, still pressing through the heel actively. Stopping hip height and switching to the pointy toe to lift high. Gently pulsing. Releasing the leg and shifting those hips. But let's find a few rounds of cat-cow to start warming the spine, the lower back. So hands planting firmly into the mat, pressing long through the arms and rounding the upper back and shoulders, letting that tailbone descend down. And the chest coming forward, the heart opening, that controlled sway through back and belly as the tailbone tips up. Exhaling on cat. Inhaling for cow. In your practice, just checking in, seeing how you're feeling. One more cat and cow. Coming to that level tabletop back and shifting the hips to the heels to settle into child's pose. Relaxing the head down, closing the eyes, and checking in. Let's find that child's pose flow. Just sliding those arms long above the head into the mat and inhaling, shifting forward to kneeling plank. Pressing back, child's pose. And from kneeling plank, tucking the toes, floating the knees, pressing into the heels, moving into down dog. Mixing it up. Just moving with the breath. That next time you do move into down dog, let's hold there. Just starting to pedal those legs out, taking the dog for a walk, looking for any snap, crackles, or pops to let go. Pressing long through the arms, feeling those shoulder blades slide down the back, coming together. The heels sinking towards the mat. Some days they touch, some days they don't. We're giving a little space between the feet and shifting the hips side to side. On an inhale, moving forward to plank, bouncing into the heels. And pressing back, down dog. And let's play a little bit, stepping those feet together. Let's find that Ferris wheel, that large circular motion with the body. So lifting up high onto the toes and starting to shift the main weight of the body towards the hands, bending those knees as we shift and sink back, and lifting the booty high once again. Just imagining as you feel that large circle that your body is creating. It may actually be more oval, but that's all right. In our mind's eye is circle, like that large Ferris wheel. Let's switch directions. Reversing that wheel spin. And settling into down dog. Pedaling the legs or shifting the hips. Hopefully starting to feel a little more limber and loose. Coming forward to plank. Slow with control with those elbows tucked by the sides. Lowering that body down. Settling the tops of the feet into the mat, tucking the elbows into the ribs and sliding the hands under the shoulders. Pressing into the mat, lifting out slightly for up dog or cobra. Exhaling, releasing the upper body down. And taking your time to roll onto that left side. Legs extended long, coming onto that left forearm for support. Legs stacked. Getting ready for a little side plank on that forearm. So keeping that right hand nearby for a little added support and balance. On your inhale, pressing into the side of the bottom foot into that forearm and floating the hips and the bum. They don't have to come high. That right arm can extend long or settle on your sacrum, your lower back. Right on top of the tramp stamp. Yes, that's the perfect spot. Bumping the hips, the booty up some if they feel like they're sinking. Releasing down and switching sides. That right forearm planting, legs long and stacked, coming onto that forearm strong, and tucking that bottom side of the outer edge of the foot into the mat. Left hand for support. When ready, pressing into the forearm, that side of the foot, to float the hips and bum. Left arm long, maybe on the sacrum. Lifting a little higher if you want to challenge yourself or just if you feel like you're sinking. Finding the breath. Releasing down. And whenever you're ready, tucking those toes under to press back up into down dog, pedaling those legs or shifting the hips. Finding that long extension through the spine. Hopefully finding that down dog that's almost as comfortable as child's pose. And taking a moment to breathe. Here, relaxing in down dog for the moment, or reaching for the outside of the right ankle with that left hand and drawing the torso towards the legs to peek under that right armpit up towards the ceiling. Releasing to down dog, shifting the hips, finding that breath. And with that right hand reaching to the outside of the left ankle, drawing those legs and torso a little closer to peek under that left armpit. Releasing out back into down dog. Gently shaking the hips side to side. Releasing any tension in the lower back. Let's move into pigeon. Coming forward into plank, pressing long through the arms, bouncing into the heels, and stepping that right foot forward. Those toes relaxing just behind the left wrist. The knees settling down, that left leg extending long behind you, and finding a prop, maybe a block or wadded up sweatshirt, to place under that right bum cheek to keep you from rolling over. Staying in long arms, perhaps enjoying that back bend or playing with that back toe drawing in, releasing onto your forearms or fully reclining. Eyes closed. Those ocean waves hitting the sand, receding back into the water. Just another breath or two here. Back up into long arms and tucking that prop out of the way but nearby. Hands planting firmly before tucking that left toe under, floating the knee, pressing into the heel, and stepping back to plank, bouncing into both heels. Pressing into down dog. Taking that moment to stretch the lower back and the hips. Moving forward plank and kicking those left toes to settle just behind that right wrist as the knees release, that right leg sliding long and tucking that prop under the left bum cheek this time. And deciding to stay high, settle onto the forearms or fully recline. Might not match the other side, but listening to your body. Just enjoying that back bend if lifted high. And relaxing into the breath, no matter where your body chose to be. A few more breaths here. Walking back up into long arms. Tucking that prop out of the way off to the side and planting those hands into the mat. Before tucking the right toe under to float the knee, pressing into the heel and stepping back into plank. Bouncing into the heels before shifting into down dog. Shaking that booty gently side to side, that nice little sway and flow. Feeling that stretch through the lower back, that release, and walking the hands back towards the legs for forward fold. As you settle the weight onto the feet, letting the upper body hang loose and long. walking the hands a little forward to distribute that weight between the hands and the feet, finding that 50-50 split, that support from both, but releasing the weight from the right leg into the left to bend that right knee and start to point those toes up towards the ceiling as the leg straightens. That standing split, those toes may not actually be pointing directly up, but in your mind's eye they are. Top of the head dropping down and pressing long through the standing leg. Bending that right knee, letting the heel come by the bum. And slow with control, releasing that leg back down, planting the foot into the mat. And giving that little booty shake, letting go. Before finding that strength and that split of the weight distribution between hands and feet. Releasing the weight from the left foot into the right as the knee bends. And those toes extend up towards the ceiling. Again, they might not actually be there. I know mine aren't, but in my mind's eye, they're pointing directly up. And top of the head down. Bending that knee as the heel comes by the bum. And slow with control, letting go. Replanting the foot, and giving that little shake through the booty. And with those arms extended long, rolling up one vertebra at a time, coming to stand on the mat, those shoulders rolling up and back, letting go. And let's play a little bit with Warrior today. Opening the legs, those toes starting out by pointing to the outer corners, but adjusting as if coming into that Warrior 2 to the right, setting that knee up, that toe towards that side wall, and as the arms extend long, let's flow in and out, checking that space and distance, peeking that that big toe is still visible inside of the bent knee, settling in Warrior 2. Reaching long through the arms, wiggling those fingers. Letting that left hand float down behind the back as the right comes high. And bending that right elbow, settling the palm of the hand on the upper back. And gently wrapping, just finding that little bind. Maybe that left hand is by the right hip, settling in. Extending out Warrior 2, reaching long through the arms, wiggling the fingers. That left hand to thigh, right palm turning up, and slipping back into reverse Warrior. Sweeping that left hand up to meet the right, long to ceiling, palms together. Straightening that right knee, coming center and tipping the gaze up. Starting to move Warrior left. Adjusting the knee, the toes, reaching long through the arms but flowing in and out. Finding that space, that distance before settling in, that big toe still visible inside of the bent knee. The core giving support. Letting that right arm fall behind the back, just wrapping gently, maybe settling onto that left hip. from the left arm, long to ceiling, before bending the elbow and giving yourself that pat on the upper back. Relaxing with the breath. Releasing the arms to extend long, warrior two, reaching through the fingers. That right hand falling to the thigh, left palm turning up, sliding back, reverse warrior. Right arm floating long and straightening that left knee. Front of the body and the legs fully open to the long end of the mat. On an exhale, arms sweeping down, resting by the thighs and folding from the waist. Finding that level back and stopping to hold. Gently pressing through the legs, feeling that little stretch. Releasing that right hand to the mat under the face, pressing long through the arm and twisting left, that left arm extending long to the ceiling, glancing up towards the thumb. Gently lifting, so we're not crunching that right shoulder down. No added weight. Releasing forward and switching sides, planting that left hand firm, twisting right, that right arm extending long, and lifting up and out from that lower shoulder. Exhaling forward. Hands into the mat for support, letting the top of the head drop down. A big, long stretch and release through the back as the spine hangs. Relaxing with the breath. Planting those hands for some support and walking those feet a little closer. Toes still pointing out, getting ready to drop into Malasana. On an exhale, starting to squat, those knees tracking that path of the toes as the booty drops between the heels, and tucking those elbows into the knees, bringing hands to heart center, settling in, that booty not dropping, keeping that control. Releasing down. Let's find reverse plank. We did a lot of forward planks today. So those knees slightly bent in front of you, legs long. Walking the hands together behind the back, those shoulder blades coming together. Fingers pointing to the bum or the side walls. On an inhale, floating the hips and bum, stepping the legs long, coming to point the toes. Core, floating that hip and bum nice and long and strong. The chin can rest on the chest or gently hang back with control. Exhaling, Gesundheit, releasing the bum down and folding forward from the hips. Gently pressing the backs of the legs into the mat as you lengthen through the spine. And coming back to seated. Moving forward onto the knees and opening those feet out to the sides so you can sit the bum down between the heels. Staying here if this is a big, big stretch for you. Or starting to walk the hands back, settling onto the forearms. Staying here if you like. Or releasing all the way back to the mat. Hello, Miss Dharma. Relaxing, breathing. Always remembering that magic breath if needed. Taking a moment, breathing through any tightness. And on that next inhale, slowly lifting back up to seated, coming forward onto the hands to bring those feet together and switch to the bum. Those feet coming in front of the body, knees still bent. Shifting onto that balancing spot at the top of the bum and bringing those hands behind the bent knees before floating into boat. Gently pressing through the heels, letting those hands stay behind the knees or extending long. Finding the length through the spine, the core, keeping everything together and active. Always that option to distract yourself with an alternating knee or toe tap down to the mat. Hi, Miss Dharma. Tucking the fingers behind the knees, settling the feet to the mat and one vertebra at a time, lowering back. As the shoulder blades touch, sliding the toes in and hugging those knees for a nice tight hug, rocking side to side, massaging the spine. Setting those feet down, knees still bent. Let's find bridge. So pressing into the heels, heels near the bum, maybe a couple inches away, but the arms by the sides. And on that inhale, planting the heels, floating the hips and the bum, and finding that long line from collarbones out through the knees. Staying here in low bridge, or walking the hands together under the back, interlacing the fingers, walking those shoulder blades together, and lifting that booty a little higher. Or not, staying right in low. Thank you, Miss Dharma. Okay, that's not fair. Sneak attack. Always the option to lift onto those tippy toes as well, if you like. If it feels good. Okay, Miss Dharma. Releasing the interlaced fingers. Opening the shoulder blades, letting the booty release down, and hugging those knees once again into the chest. And gently rocking. But reaching for that strap. And I've got those short legs, so mine's folded in half. But taking that strap around the ball of both feet and extending the legs long up towards the ceiling with one end of the strap in each hand. Are you needing some extra attention right now, my good girl? Gently pointing those toes up towards the ceiling, feeling that stretch in the front of the ankles, using that strap for resistance. And flowing, tipping those toes down towards the face as the heels press up. That stretch moving into the back of the legs. Coming back level, drawing those toes so the feet are more over the face as you look up. And releasing them back more over the hips, letting that right toe slip out from the strap, floating down to the mat and settling in. That left hip opening out to the side, using that strap for support. Holding here or drawing those toes up towards the head once again, feeling that stretch increase, or not. Maybe that first initial stretch is more than enough. drawing that leg up to center, crossing the body, switching hands with the strap, and rolling right, stacking the hips, still using that strap for support. That left arm extending long out to the side, taking the gaze to the fingers to relax into that reclined torso twist. Again, maybe opting to bring those toes a little closer towards the head if you wish, reigniting that stretch. Or not. Nice, sweet girl. Coming back to center. A strap in each hand, floating that right leg up to switch places. That left leg long, releasing slowly to the mat. And bringing both straps into the right hand, opening the hip out to the side. Supporting with the strap. Increasing the stretch only if you wish, drawing those toes closer to the head or not. Bringing that leg long, crossing the torso, switching the strap into the left hand, and stacking the hips. Letting that right arm extend long to the side, taking the gaze across the fingers. Relaxing into that torso twist reclined. Thank you, Dharma. Too much, my girl. Just a little too much. Breathing, bringing those toes higher if you wish to reignite the stretch. Coming onto the back, taking a strap in each hand and drawing that right knee down into the armpit for half happy baby. Gently pressing through the left heel and letting as much of that back leg rest into the mat. Pressing through the right heel, extending the leg long towards the ceiling. And floating that left leg up. Once again, switching places, that right leg long. And drawing that left knee into the armpit for half happy baby. Gently extending through the heel of the right leg so that as much of the back of the leg connects into the mat as possible. Pressing through the left heel, extending the leg and removing that strap. Just tossing it off to the side, hugging the knee deeply into the chest. Sliding that right knee into the chest as well, that nice full hug. Rocking. And floating the nose up to the knees. Peace sign fingers finding the big toes for full happy baby. Both knees dropping into the armpits by the ribs with the flat of the feet facing up. Maybe rocking the baby or just resting back. If you desire, floating that chin up between the knees, engaging the core and pulsing upward, feeling that core, that little ab workout, holding on the high end of the pulse. Can only if you wish. Exhaling back, happy baby. letting the toes go and hugging those knees into the chest. Once again, floating the chin to the nose and the knees to make that tight, tight ball with the body. And find that full breath before exhaling, extending long through both arms and legs, extending and reaching towards the opposite walls, letting that belly button sink towards the spine sink towards the mat, extending long, stretching and reaching, and letting go. Sinking back, meeting the mat, those toes dropping open to the outer corners. Adjusting the shoulder blades under the spine, bringing those arms down by the sides with the palms facing up to find your Shavasana. And taking a moment, letting any tension go that you might still be holding. Perhaps a furrow in the brow, tightness in the cheeks, or tension in the jaw. The tongue dropping away from the roof of the mouth. Collarbones falling open, and the ribs resting. The belly softening, and the hips open. Letting yourself sink back deeper with each breath. Picturing it, seeing it in your mind's eye, painting that picture. Repetition and flow. Noticing how your breath becomes longer the more you relax. otherwise starting to wiggle those toes and rub the pads of the fingers together. Making little circles with the wrists and the ankles. And inhaling to slide one knee into the chest, finding that hug, letting those shoulders fall back. On another inhale, sliding that opposite knee in as well, just resting back. Gently rocking, massaging the spine once more. Either rolling onto your side, gently pressing to seated, or tucking those fingers behind the knees. Rocking on up, just settling in comfortably how we started. Those arms in the lap are draped over the knees. Eyes still closed, letting that body get vertical. Taking a few breaths all together before we do close our practice. So those arms down by the sides. Inhaling, extending long, connecting at the top. Exhaling, fingers floating down and repeating. Inhaling, extending long, connecting at the top. Exhaling out. And once more. Inhaling, reaching long, palms meeting. Exhaling, hands heart center. Just tucking in, pausing for a moment. Enjoying the peace, the quiet. Or repeating that word or mantra. Our card today said, I am ready to receive. Or patting yourself on the back, maybe literally, for getting on the mat today and doing something good just for you. But thank you, each of you. The light in me acknowledges the light in you. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Happy Friday.